Welcome to a whole new world of gods, ancient Greek, and many more mysteries. In today's video, we are diving into a new official map called ASTRAEOS. Let's begin. This video is sponsored by Mitra 9. Mitra 9 is a kava and kratom seltzer company which provides an alternative to alcohol. These drinks give you a high, but without the impairment. They have a ton of great flavors, my favorite being tropical. Simply go to mitra9.com and use my code Outcasts and you will get 25% off your entire order. If you're looking for a great alternative to coffee or just a way to get you going in the morning, Mitra is definitely the way to go. Now, back to the video. ASTRAEOS is a brand new map to ARK inspired by Greek mythology and ancient culture. This expansive, awe-inspiring map offers boundless opportunities for exploration and adventure. It was crafted by the same developer behind the maps Svartalheim and Fjordor, both of which are widely regarded as exceptional maps. When I say that ASTRAEOS is truly extraordinary, I mean it. This map boasts some of the most incredibly designed caves I've ever seen, catering to both PvE and PvP. One of its standout features is its interconnected underwater realm, seamlessly linked by a network of some caves and just passageways, further enhancing the map's vast, immersive world. Let's start with an overview of the map. The first zone is Corinthos. This is one of the main portions of the map. It's overall very peaceful and covered with beautiful landscapes. The next zone is Fonkintos. I believe that's how you say it. It's a darker region with pine trees covering most of the area. It has tall mountains and hills as well as a lot of flat land. There's also a small wyvern swamp styled island located right next to that last location. On the far right of the map is an area with large mountains and cliffs. This area is not complete yet as I'm making this video. At the bottom of the map is the desert area. This area is also not done yet, but it is looking like it's going to be absolutely massive. In the middle of the map is the volcano island. This is a wasteland-like area which is massive as well. It has a central volcano in the middle and has a charcoal look to the environment. Now this area has element veins as well as just tons of metal. It's practically a mini extinction island. Now the map is only about 35% done, so there still is a lot to come, so we will only be going over what is done as of right now. I will be making another video when the rest of the map is complete. ASTRAEOS introduces some new dinos, being the seahorse. The seahorse is a water dino which is relatively fast but doesn't really have any special abilities. They can be found pretty much everywhere underwater. The next dino is the minotaur. This is just a minotaur added to the map. They can be randomly found around the map or even in some caves. The cave ones are a little stronger, so be careful when fighting them. The third new dino is Meguna. This is basically a reskinned Maywing and I love it. The rest of the community also seems to be happy about this as well. It can hold babies like a Maywing can, and I honestly don't see anything different about it. The last new dino is the Astraeal dinos. They come in forms of Rex, Dinosuchus, Raptor, Argentavis, Carno, Moza, and Tuso. These are insanely strong versions of the regular dinos and are much bigger in size. I don't think that these will be allowed to be tamed as I'm recording this right before the map is fully out. Overall, this map adds some very nice dinos. Next up is base locations. This map is covered in base spots. It has a ton of flat land as well as ruins of Greek buildings and tons of caves, but we will go over those later. I'm going to show you 5 of the best spots I could find. First up is 53.6 latitude and 23.0 longitude. This is a medium-sized area with some ruins of some buildings. You can actually place stuff down in the buildings, which does make this spot 10 times better. Next up is 62.4 latitude and 24.3 longitude. This is a beach location which has ships in the water as well as just some small defense-like bases that you can build in. It makes for a pretty decent spot. Up next is 80.9 latitude and 29.2 longitude. This is a small island in the middle of the ocean which makes for a great spot for a bigger tribe to live in. Up next is 30.8 latitude and 43.3 longitude. This is a big area for a tribe to live in ruins. It has its own Sparta pit for you to kick anyone that you want down. It has a ton of room and even a full dock area for you to store boats. Now of course you have to build the dock, but it is still a great little spot. The last spot is 9.1 latitude and 15.1 longitude. This is a very big area located at the top of the highest mountain over here. It has a different style compared to all the other Greek areas, but it is a great spot to live. Next up we have caves. This map has tons of insane caves. I'm going to show you my top 5. The first one can be found at 63 latitude and 43.1 longitude. This is an underwater cave. It has a very massive entrance which on PvP is nearly impossible to defend, but it has a crazy amount of room to live in. The second one can be found at 29.8 latitude and 9.2 longitude. This is a pretty big cave, but it's more of just like an artifact cave, so nothing too crazy. It's got a few man-made structures and a good amount of room. The third one can be found at 4.4 latitude and 16.5 longitude. This cave is a decent one which has 2 entrances and a water entrance in the middle. This is more of a PvP one. The fourth spot can be found at 24.9 latitude and 15.8 longitude. This is a pretty good PvP spot. It's not a massive cave but isn't a bad spot as well. The fifth spot can be found at 9.6 latitude and 10.3 longitude. This is an amazing PvP spot with a small entrance and a long passageway with a big room in it. These were some of the great caves on this map, but there are just tons of more caves for you to explore. Next up is resource locations. I'm not going to go in depth about all the resources, but here is 10 good locations for metal, oil, crystal, and wood for you to farm. ASTRAEOS has 6 main artifacts for the boss fights, being the artifact of the Massive, which can be found at 37.4 latitude and 22.5 longitude. This is sort of a puzzle cave. You just have to figure out how to get through, and it's a bit of a challenge. Next up is Artifact of the Hunter. This can be found at 30.0 latitude and 9.6 longitude. This cave is pretty easy to navigate. The only issue is that you're going to have to fight the Minotaurs. Next up is Artifact of the Clever. This can be found at 24.7 latitude and 23.9 longitude. This is an underwater artifact, so it's slightly harder to get a hold of. Once you're in the cave, look for this pink glowing area and then you'll find it. Artifact of the Pack can be found in the main cave on the volcano island. It can be found at 67.9 latitude and 63.0 longitude, and 63.0 longitude. Just follow the cave all the way down and then you'll find it. Artifact of the Brute can be found at 48.6 latitude and 49.6 longitude. This can be found in the main underwater cave. It's a decently long journey to get here, but it isn't hard to do. Look for the main building in the water, and it's a little bit of a puzzle to get in here, but it isn't really that hard. Artifact of the Devious can be found at 21.8 latitude and 43.3 longitude. This is an easy cave, it's just a maze that you'll have to solve and then you'll get to the artifact. It's not hard at all. Anyways, those were the 6 artifacts. I'm going to be making a separate video on just strictly artifacts and how to get them, and just basically everything that you're ever going to need to know on that, so just stay tuned for that video. ASTRAEOS has 2 brand new boss fights, being Natrix the Devious. This new boss is essentially just Medusa. It's a reskin from another boss from a game called Atlas, which was ARK's failed pirate game. Now I made another video about Natrix if you want more detail, but I'll go over the basics. Natrix can be fought as an easy, medium, and hard mode. It has a few mechanics, being able to have the ability to turn you into stone. Now while this doesn't completely turn you to stone, it will freeze your player for a few seconds and will basically put you to sleep. It's the same mechanic from being hit by Upper Lovia. Now from what I found, I don't think that you can really avoid this from happening, so just be careful as it will desaddle you from your team. This can be deadly, so watch out. Now from what I found, Therazinos, Rexes, and Megatherium seem to be the best dinos to use during the fight. It's really up to you how you want to fight this boss, but those were just some tips. The second boss that you have to fight is Thodes the Widowmaker. This is a giant ogre-like boss who attacks mainly with a club. Now this boss is easier to do as all you need is a kangaroo and a shotgun. There are a few ledges for you to jump on, but this may end up getting patched. One mechanic that he has is when you shoot him in the head, he will start to emit a spark-like thing out of his head. When this happens, that means that he will be vulnerable and then you can do 3 times damage. Overall, it's not a horrible fight to do. Anyways, that was my beginner's guide to ASTRAEOS. Hopefully you were able to understand most of the features ASTRAEOS has to offer. If you could please leave a like and subscribe, it would mean the world to me. Don't forget to check out my Tier 9, and thanks for watching.